Okay, so we've gone through these steps for a pre-shot procedure for recurve archery. First of all, we prepare ourselves to make sure our state is right. We wait until we confirm you feel good. You look towards the target. You raise the bow. You check to make sure your front hand is in the right position. The bow feels like it's pulling against the front hand and your rear arm is in the right place. When you feel ready, you draw to your anchor position underneath your chin with an inhale. From this position, this is when I'm actually aligning my sight onto my target whilst exhaling. As I'm exhaling, my back is able to expand further. So whilst I'm aiming, my back is expanding. It's allowing me to get to that position where I can just release. Now the string will slip off my fingers. But when you start learning this skill, it's not natural for your fingers to go in this direction. It's very often the case that when people draw, they often just let go like this. Alright, so this in effect is not what you should be doing. This is going to create major problems for you later on. You're in effect should be just letting the string go. If you put the tension on your back in the right way through this draw procedure, it's a natural reaction for you to go in this opposite direction to where the string is going. It's just a force of nature. But whilst you're developing this skill, I want you to consciously make an effort to put this back hand after you've released onto your shoulder. Okay? So I want you to feel as if this thumb is being placed onto the shoulder. So even say to yourself, release and force that action to happen. Just like this. Raise, draw, aim, release. From this position. Raise, draw, aim, release. This is important. You're developing the pattern in the brain here. If you're forcing your body to do something, your brain simply says, well, that's what it wants me to do. If you start doing inappropriate actions, your brain, if you do it enough, will believe that's what you want to do. So this is why it's fundamentally important for you to develop the correct physical movements at this stage before you start shooting the bow. Because once you pick up this bow and you follow this same sequence, your brain will not know any difference between you holding a clini band and you holding a recurve bow. But because you've practiced this time and time again at home, you will be in a much, much better place to start your archery journey. So this draw and release is something that you initially are going to be consciously enabling. It's something you have to do. You have to go through this process to develop this pattern. In the same way as when you raise, draw, expand and release, you're letting the bow go. These are important skills that you might not appreciate when you're beginning, but they are fundamental to you being able to shoot consistently at distances of 90 meters, 100 yards. It's very, very easy for you to develop poor habits early on in your shooting when you start to try and shoot arrows too soon. And in Korea, I believe people aren't allowed to pick up a bow and shoot arrows for quite some time. They have other methods for training what it is that I'm talking to you here. But I don't believe they take into account the fact that they're training the brain and the mind and the body simultaneously. If you're following what I'm talking about here, you should start to recognise that what you're doing is developing a pre-shot procedure for every shot. And it does not matter if you're shooting 100 yards or 10 yards, your body has to carry out the same task. What will happen over time is that you will develop you will develop muscles because you're carrying out this physical task. Your body says, I need to develop something to support what he's doing. Because you're then starting to develop muscle, you'll start to change the strength of your bow limbs, so you'll be able to draw more weight, shoot your arrows further. But the same technique that you use right now as you're learning is the same technique that will be sending the arrows 100 yards. You're not doing any more work, the bow does the work because of the limbs are capable of projecting the arrow. All you're doing is carrying out the same physical behaviour and allowing the bow to do the work. That's why you don't have to suddenly start behaving differently when you shoot longer distances. But if you don't have in place the correct skills before you start going further, you're not going to have a great deal of fun in the world of archery, or golf, should I say.